What's going on YouTube? Critical Ray back here again. Today I'm going to be bringing you another review for another episode of HBO's newest and latest limited series, Sharp Objects. Now this is episode 5 out of 8 and it is called Closer. And if you don't already know, this show stars Amy Adams, Patricia Clarkson, Chris Messina, and was directed by John Mark Valley and was written by Scott Brown. And the basic synopsis for this review episode, without giving anything away, is as the town of Wind Gap gathers for the Calhoun Festival, Camille grows closer to the detective, and she sees how the town is reacting to her latest article. And that's as bland of a description I can give you for this episode without giving it away. And if you're new to these reviews, I talk about what I like about this episode. I also grade it as off of number scales. 1 out of 5 stars, and I do 0.5s. I do point everything, actually. And at the end, before I do my outro, I will leave room for speculations on what I think is going on in the show and where it's going to go and stuff like that. And we can talk about it down in the comments. But let's get back to the normal review. This episode was very straightforward, really. You know, if you've been watching this show and watched my reviews, you know that I talk a lot about the unique way of them telling the story in their flashbacks and how they edit it together. And, you know, they do have a weird way of doing it. But this one was actually very straightforward. It had a couple of flashbacks, which I think was from the night before, where the last episode left off, with her in the car and her sister on rollerblades. Yeah, so, you know, this episode had the whole town in one place, and everyone, you get to see the town as a character again. You see civilians every now and again, but this time they were all in one place. And you learn a little bit of history about the town, which is very interesting, because they are a southern town, so this festival has them, you know, kind of celebrating the Confederacy in the Civil War, and something that happened in the Calhoun family. And, so, you know, you get to see how every character who wouldn't typically react to one another react in this episode. And we learn more about Camille's past, a little bit more, and like some of the mental issues and what she's done to her body in the past. And we get to see how her relationship is forming with the detective, and how she is kind of ashamed of what has happened in her past, and how you can tell that he knows, and he's intrigued, so he wants to figure it out, because he really likes Camille. And then we also get to see a little bit more of the relationship between the sheriff and Camille's mom. And this one also focuses on some of Camille's sister's problems with, like, drugs and, you know, her behavior and stuff like that. So, you know, this episode, it didn't really further the main plot about the serial killer and the two girls, but it really did focus on, you know, keeping a straightforward storyline and giving us more details and character development on certain characters, which I felt like was needed, especially for, you know, Camille and the detective. You know, you get to see more of their characters and how they, you know, he's intrigued, but she's kind of distant, and, you know, how he gets to see a chance at, you know, what Camille and her mom's relationship is like in a way, because her mom brings the detective inside the house to give him a tour, and, you know, really it's just to find out what all he knows and kind of try to manipulate him with the relationship with her daughter. And I feel like this episode, if this is what they were going for, I really did like it. You were kind of supposed to look at it from the detective's point of view, in a way. With him being an outsider, and we're outsiders to the town, you know, you get to see how he is learning everything about the town and the people that's in it. And a little bit through Camille's eyes, because ultimately this show follows Camille, but you know, because she's also an outsider, so she gets to see some of the past people and some of the other things. So it's really a mixture of looking in both of their eyes, seeing it how they see it, which I really like if that's the way that they were going with it. But I'm going to give Sharp Objects Episode 5, Closer, give it a 4.8. I'm a little disappointed that it didn't really focus on the serial killer aspects, but I do think we needed this episode. Not necessarily in one whole episode. Maybe it could have been throughout different episodes while they were continuing with the serial killer theory. But I do think that we needed this episode. So, or forms of this episode in different episodes. But I like the way that they did it. I mean, I really did like this episode. I like the costumes, the design, the editing of it, the pacing of it, everything about this episode I did like. I was just a little disappointed. So actually, yeah, 4.8, I'm good with that. But anyways, now we're going to talk about speculations. So, spoilers if you haven't watched tonight's episode, which I don't know why you haven't if you're watching the show, and spoilers if you aren't watching the show at all. And I'm going to give you a countdown. 3, 2, 1. In this episode, we finally learned that Camille's mom said that she never loved her, or never has loved her, which we've known, or we figured, but she finally said it. We also heard her see Camille's body and all the writing, like scarring writing on her body of the words and stuff like that, all over her body, and her say that she's ruined her body. So we learn more about how her mom really does see her. And we also learned that her father is a lot like her and distant and can't get close to anyone. And that's why Camille's mom never loved her. And I think that the sheriff is Camille's dad. I really do. I feel like this episode showed a lot of looks. And like the way he was looking at Camille's mom and stuff like that. I have a feeling that that is her dad. And just something about what he said to the detective in the barbershop really kind of gave it a signal towards that, because you could tell that he was trying to keep him away from Camille in that type of way. And, you know, stuff like that. But I don't think he knows, or he was fishing for what really happened to Camille. It's either one of those. I think it's more the fishing for what really happened to Camille, because he knows that that's her daughter, but he knows nothing that's happened to her, but he knows something has happened to her in the past. So I think that's really what he's focusing on. He's using the detective to get closer and to know the truth. So, yeah, guys, comment down below. Let me know if you watched this week's episode, if you're really enjoying the show, if you've read the books, stuff like that. And let's talk about if you agree with my speculations. Let's hear your speculations. And yeah, comment also some questions and some ideas for new videos and questions for a Q&A that I would like to do. I just need questions about my personal life to answer for you guys if you're curious. And yeah, in the description I have links to my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages. You can click on over there for updates on my personal life, what I'm working on, stuff I'm doing, things like that. And if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, because it really does help me out, and also share it with all your friends, family, everyone that you know, and any people that you don't know. And hit that subscribe button and that bell icon for more awesome content like this. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.